So this is how much 6 Series £2,000 buys you. It's a black on black car, black interior, black metallic exterior. It's got a sunroof, as you may be able to see. And it's got these aftermarket M6 alloy wheels, or replica M6 alloy wheels from a later one, the F10 or whatever it's called. Yeah. They're 20 inches, running 35 profile rubber, and the rears are almost completely gone, so I think it might just be a chance of replacing them out for something else. E63 M6 wheels will look quite nice on this. So the paintwork is very flat in certain spots. You can't even see a reflection off the bonnet. Some aftermarket carbon fibre badge for all the weight savings. Always quite like the front look of this car around here. It's got a lot of presence about it, and there's no denying what it is. It's got the xenon headlamps, front parking sensors, as you can see, and it's got a kind of a washer jet situation as well for cleaning the fronts. It's imposing. It's definitely got something going for it. But if you have a look here, the paintwork's a lot better in this area. Not quite sure what happened with the bonnet, but it still needs a good old wash and probably quite a decent polish to get the best out of it. Another bit I quite like is how the rear sits like this. It's got a very imposing outline, this car. Brakes are alright on the back, fairly decent pads. As you can see on the front there is a warning light currently on the dash of the car, and I think it's for the front pads. Got a bit left on them. I wouldn't say it's enough for a warning. Maybe they've been replaced and they need brake pad sensors or the warning light to be reset in the car. That's kind of it on the outside. This is a bit of a long-term project thing, so hopefully we're going to make it look nice in time and see how good we can get the paintwork. Right, okay. Let's step inside. In a way, the interior is the best bit of the car. So you step into the cabin and it's all familiar BMW. Similar DNA, updated for these models. Quite nice modern feeling design for what is a 16-year-old car. So you've got all the basic stuff like electric mirrors, electric windows, multifunction steering wheel with mappable controls on it. It's got the volume and the station of the radio, the track you're listening to, a voice control button and a telephone. Here we've got the large screen for the infotainment system, which is unfortunately controlled by a first-gen iDrive system, but it may be upgradable, I'm not sure. Things have come quite far in terms of infotainment. The haptic feedback on this jog wheel caught me by surprise. What that means is you get to the end of a menu and you try and continue turning the wheel and it'll stop you from moving it, and you'll just be looking at it and going, what? But you do get used to it, which is good. Moving on, dual zone climate control and AC, which should work. There's a DVD drive here for your DVD navigation disc, but it plays audio CDs as well, and then there's a CD player above it. Moving further down, we have these nice sport electrically operated leather seats that have heating at the bottom of them and will program to the key of the car. So you come in here, you put your key in there, not your wife's, and you'll put yourself into your driving position. If you sit like that, I don't know, you might sit like that. Speaking about leather, I'm not sure if this is an option, but this car's got these nice little hand-stitched leather bits on the doors, and it makes it feel nice and luxury. And then a couple of other things. First of all, it's got the world's least conveniently located cup holder, which doesn't do a particularly good job of staying put. And then moving further up the cabin, we've got this peculiar sunroof thing, which does open, but only the panel opens, not the glass itself. This goes all the way back there. It gives you a nice sense of space, but it doesn't really accomplish anything. But you can press the button in, and it'll go up a little bit, and then if you press it again, but you see, I've saved the best for last, because this button over here activates the 4.4 litre V8 petrol engine. Yes. Should we try it out? So this is the 6 Series. All in all, you feel sort of cocooned in this car, quite nice and low down, but you've got decent visibility. So typical low slung, laid back coupe feel. What surprises me is I was expecting this car to feel a bit sort of boaty and blancmangian. I'm not sure why, but it really doesn't. It's got a really decent compromise of comfort to road holding and feedback and all those other things. Aside from that one particular speed bump, it feels really lovely actually. And of course we haven't even mentioned the most important part yet, which is the bit that makes it do this. Oh fuck! Alright, I might have lost you there. I think you sort of get the idea. Let's look at this guy go. So the thing is, I think the car was a bit too cheap. It doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me why you'd sell this amount of car in good condition with a long MOT and all of those things and not have any real drawbacks. Yeah, it needs a couple of tyres on the back of it. The front brake warning lights are on. Well, it's just got a brake pad warning light, but I've done some checks in the car. The front ones are pretty low, so that's gonna have to be dealt with, as is the brightness of this camera. All in all though, it's a rather wonderful little thing. It's a bit of a project though. Without further ado, I'm going to go back and park it on my driveway. And the adventure starts. Finally I've got a half decent project car, and that's the way I'm approaching this. Okay, should we do a quick? It's like any revs, any speed, put your foot down and there is all the acceleration. I have no idea what an M6 feels like, because this feels plenty fast. Granted, I've come out of a Golf GTI straight into this thing, right? So this got more than twice the displacement and about 50% extra horsepower, maybe a little bit more. But the composure, okay, it's a little bit jiggly because of those 20-inch wheels on the back of it, but it really doesn't feel uncomfortable at all. Fabulous little thing. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. I will compose myself, fix this car, and give you a proper review of it very shortly. But until then, so immediate impressions driving the 6 Series. The car is flat, it's planted, it's pretty comfortable considering it's got 20-inch tyres on this thing. You know, these big old alloy wheels. They've got very little give in the tyre sidewall. It does feel direct, and it doesn't really move around very much. It's very flat. I think it has dynamic drive, so that probably helps. Not quite sure how, but that was the first takeaway. Also, the cabin is just so familiar yet so fresh. Everything's exactly where you'd expect it to be because it's typical BMW DNA, but it just feels sort of special. I can imagine doing a really long journey in this thing and having a really good time with it. The stereo is fantastic, but the front speakers don't work, so it's all incredibly bass heavy. The navigation system doesn't work either. There are a few bits and bobs that I know with this car, but I think, despite the way it looks, we might have a good one. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Alright, so we're just taking the car for a drive, and I've just noticed something. It doesn't match what's on the back of the car. If you have a look at this, they're quite old plates, and these ones here are brand new. Also, look at that BMW lowercase. This definitely isn't a BMW plate, and this is a brand new plate. So while I was looking at this, It's trying to figure out if these actually come from this car or not. As you'll notice, there's a big old bolt there. And on this side, if you have a look here, you'll see there's a hole that matches it perfectly right there. What the fuck? What is this car? And what is this car? I've done it again. I've done it again. I can't believe I've gone and done it again. Stupid.